Children come into foster care for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's because they've been neglected or abused. Sometimes it's because the family's in distress in some way, maybe an illness, or maybe they're homeless and they just need a safe place for their children. There's a lot of reasons kids come into care. They all come in with loss though. Everything that they know is gone when they come into foster care, so even in the happiest home or happiest, nicest foster home, they're going to feel loss and they're going to suffer in some way. They need help in healing from whatever they've had to experience so far in their young lives. Well, if Only Create Children's Homes, we're going to create an environment where kids can really just be themselves. They can learn how to be children again. So many of the kids we're going to meet haven't had that opportunity to just enjoy their childhood. We bought this property, it's nearly 100 acres, and we plan to build no more than 4 or 5 houses on it because we want to keep most of it as it is, with the woods and the fields and the chances to have nature trails. But we're planning to build houses that are large enough for 8 children in each house. And the reason for that is we want to help sibling groups because we think that that's one of the bigger needs right now is keeping siblings together. We'll have volunteers coming into the property from the community who will be trained to take care of help with these kids, and they'll be coming in to share their skills. So in the house, the children will be able to work with someone to learn to cook or learn to can vegetables that might come out of a garden that we'll have here. Or they might garden flowers and decorate the house with them. They might have animal care. They might want to take care of 4-H projects like goats or sheep or whatever. We have plenty of room for that. We want them to have as many opportunities for as many kinds of skills and experiences as they can, and as much interaction with other people as they can, because the real benefit to this whole thing is going to be the people. That they could get to know people and see people caring about them and spending time with them. We'll be building their self-esteem in so many ways. You know, we learn what we do about parenting from our parents. We learn from those that parented us. And the children that come into care very often have been part of generations of poor parenting, of people that didn't know how to respect and cherish a child and care for them well. So they learn from their parents that children are okay to be neglected, okay to be abused. And this is something they're going to carry on from their generation on if we don't stop that cycle. So this is one of the real goals that we have long term. This is an investment in a child's life and in their future. What I've always heard is the long-term investments are usually the best ones, the ones that matter. And this is a long-term investment in a child's life. When we dig in as a community and help a child grow up with good examples, healthy nurturing, when we give them that, then we can give them a chance to be a benefit to the community rather than a drain on it. Children that grow up without that kind of nurturing grow up to be lost and confused and angry, a drain on the system, a drain on everything. They fill up our prison systems and our welfare systems, and then they teach the next generation the same thing they learned. But a child who grows up with someone who steps up and says, I care about you, and here's how I'm going to show it. I'm going to be in your life and I'm going to help you through your life. That child can grow up and not only become a productive member of society, they can become a contributing member of it. So our communities will benefit in this long-term investment because there's less drain on community resources, there are lower crime rates, there are taxpayers that are responsible and hardworking in the community. All of this is a good return on a good investment. And I don't see why people don't see this more often. We are a nonprofit, we are a faith-based nonprofit, and so everything we do is going to be based on people helping us out financially, jumping in and being part of the investment. The houses that we're going to build are going to be slightly different, each one. They'll all be able to hold 8 children. Some of them will have more facilities in them for multi-purpose rooms and offices and so forth. The cheapest one will probably cost about $200,000 to get finished. The more expensive one, more like $375,000. Now, this is the kind of thing that we need to get going if the children get served, though, is we need those houses up, and that's our biggest concern right now, is to be able to raise the funds we need to build the dream and prepare it for the children to come in. We have made all of the other arrangements that we need to with the state and the county so that once the house is done, we can open it the next day and bring children into it. It won't take any time after that. 5 or 6 months to build, and then we have children in service. So we need people who will make either one-time gifts, who will help with our construction costs on a house, or who will help with operations costs on an ongoing basis, people that will pledge to give regularly. Any of these ways makes a big difference in helping the children, even if that pledge is a small amount. We have people that give $10 to $20 a month. That's what they can afford, and that's a huge gift. That's a blessing. Every bit of it helps a child some way or will help us to help the children. I've been taking care of children for most of the last 3 decades, and I've had over 50 children in my care in that time. They all stay in my heart, even if they were only with me for a couple of nights. They're all in my mind and my prayers all the time, but certain ones haunt me. I can't get their lives and their experiences out of my mind. Like Kim, who was 12 years old, and made me see that love was not the answer for her. She'd heard too many times, "I love you," from people that would either hurt her or leave her. And that's the experience of most of these children. They hear the word love, but it really doesn't have a meaning for them. What they need is stubbornness. Someone will stick it out and not leave. They'll keep with them when they're being their worst, and they'll be their worst just to see if you'll stick it out. A girl named Natasha taught me how long and unending the pain is when you're separated from a sibling. These kids are all in my mind and heart all the time, and they are what motivates us to keep going, because we want their stories not to be repeated. This property is being built in Elberton County, Georgia, and it sits on a very large granite slab, about 2 miles deep and 30-something miles long. I think it's about 6 miles wide. It's a pretty solid foundation. We're building the houses on that, but we're building our homes on a much more solid foundation. We're building those on Jesus Christ. He cherished children, and if we're going to cherish Him, we have to cherish children too. Christians have to be there for these children if anyone's going to teach them that God loves them. There are thousands of children in Georgia's foster care system. There are thousands of children that need help. There are a lot of numbers and statistics that we have to look at to see what the needs are. But the important fact is there's one statistic that we hang on to as the most critical one. Somewhere tonight in Georgia, one child is going to go to sleep without having any way of hoping that tomorrow will be better. And that's one too many.